Alright folks, so this is my quick review of the Ricardian model, okay? So all that you need to know in this particular setup and what this thing is pretty much about is the idea of absolute advantage versus comparative advantage, okay? So in front of you, you have an example where we have the production cost in labor hour terms given in the table. Okay, so you can see, for instance, that a country like the United States spends $4 per hour, and then China spends $9 per hour on cheese. And while the production of wine, so again, when I say production of cheese, I mean 1 unit of cheese. So whatever that unit it is, you can think of pounds or something larger. And then wine, so let's say per bottle of wine, the production cost in the U.S. is 3, and then the China is 7. Okay, so clearly here you can see, based on these numbers 4 and 3, that the United States has an absolute advantage. So U.S. is greater than China. And I don't mean greater in the sense greater, I mean it in terms of absolute advantage. That is AA. Okay, the question then becomes, should we not trade in that case because U.S. clearly is more efficient than China? And the answer is no. The answer still depends on what David Ricardo said, basically, and we still have to determine what the comparative advantage is between U.S. and China, and then sort of think of it in terms of cheese and wine. Okay, so how do we find this comparative advantage, basically? Okay, so what you need to do is you need to find what the relative price of each cheese and wine is in each country. Okay, and the way you pretty much want to do is you want to pick a country, and then that should tell you the entire story. Okay, so first of all, just a quick recap of what relative price is. So relative price is nothing but, let's say, price of wine over price of cheese. Okay, so this then simply is nothing but 3 over 4, or 0.75. Okay, so $0.75. Okay, and this is when I say price of wine, I mean it, and this is for the United States. Okay, in China, okay, price of wine over price of cheese is simply 7 over 9, which equals $0.77. Okay, so clearly you can see that the relative price of wine in US is less than the relative price of China. Okay, therefore in this case, US specializes in wine, and then China specializes in cheese. Okay, and the intuition is very simple. You will be making wine more efficiently than China. Okay, and then for China, the exact opposite is true. They will be making cheese more efficiently than you will. Okay, and let me not just say more efficiently in terms of absolute advantage, but more in terms of comparative advantage. Okay, so even though US has absolute advantage in both cheese and wine, if they decide to focus only on wine, they stand to gain more out of total production and the consequent profits that will follow. Okay, so this is the idea between determining which country should specialize in what. Okay.